next presentation, so that you get your answers, is by Diana Contreras, and is entitled Assessment of the Recovery Process Using Sentiment and Topic Analysis, the case study of the 2015 Gorkha earthquake in Nepal. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Valentina. Good morning, everyone. Well, Valentina already says the title of the presentation. So, I do this presentation on behalf of the team who participated in the return mission. This is the structure of the presentation. So, in the past, most of the data were collected during on-site missions. But now, with the progress of the state-of-the-art and the state-of-the-art instruments and the crowdsourcing platform and social media platform, the capacity of earthquake reconnaissance teams to collect data has increased a lot. Specifically, with social media platform, we are able to collect significant amount of data quickly, not only after the earthquake, but also to determine the long-term impact of the earthquake. Now, from social media, we obtain image and text data. From that, it's possible to extract information. But data from social media, text data, is unstructured data. Then we need natural language processing techniques to understand. We need natural language processing techniques, which are a branch of artificial intelligence, to understand human language. To enable computers to understand human language, analyzing sentence and words to extract information. Now, one of those natural language processing techniques is sentiment analysis. In sentiment analysis, what we do is we classify the data into three polarities. Positive, when the post mentions the reconstruction of a building or solidarity messages for the survival. Neutral, seismic information or invitation to commemoration ceremonies of activities. Negative, complaints about the delays in the recovery or mismanagement of funds. This technique has been used before in customer review of products and places, but we use it for recovery assessment because the recovery is a kind of service provided by governments to the citizens affected by the earthquake. Then we consider that it's possible to evaluate the success based on the opinion of those citizens of social media users. Now, there is a second technique that is topic analysis and topic extraction, in which we identify the topics addressed by social media users. In this list, you can observe topics that are recurrent in most of the cases, but there are topics that are particular for some cases. In this case, COVID. Here you can see some examples of tweets collected using this hashtag for the 5th anniversary of the earthquake. We visit the country 7 years later because of the COVID, but the collection was, I did it for the 5th anniversary. Now, in a period of almost 2 months, in an observation period of 2 months, based on those hashtags, we collect this number of tweets. 95% are original, but for this presentation I analyzed a sample of 2005 tweets for 3 hours before the exact time of the anniversary and 3 hours later after this time in UTC, because some social media users are not aware of the difference in time zone, and the earthquake happened at this time in Nepal Standard Zone, which corresponds to this time in UTC. Then, what we can have, this tweet was done exactly at the exact time of the earthquake. This one is around the time of the earthquake, but the time, but in UTC zone. The methodology, the summary of the methodology is this one. We identify hashtags, we collect the data, we select the sample, and we clean the data and we translate to English for anonymization. We define classification rules for sentiment and topic analysis, and we did the analysis at tweet or document level and a sentence level for the recovery assessment. Now, which are the rules? Everything that contributes to the recovery is considered positive. Everything that makes difficult or delay the recovery is considered negative. And everything like seismic information or commemoration ceremonies which didn't contribute or delay, it's neutral. Now, I need that you please, this is 23 topics, the name of them are self-explanatory, but please read it, and if you want, take a picture, because I'm going to do something. This part of the presentation will be interactive, so I'm going to ask you to please scan this code with your mobile phone, or you can also go to Menti and put this code. No.
So we got this one.
Yes, exactly. So what you see there is a tweet. I will ask you to please, in this case you have only one option, please classify that according to the polarity. Remember, it contributes to the recovery, is positive, is delayed, is negative, is negative, or is neutral. Okay, you have only one option. So I have 4 participants, so
okay. I missed scanning the QR.
don't worry. Okay, to don't delay the presentation, I'm going to proceed with this one now. For the topic analysis, please determine the main topic of this tweet. You have this option, you can select only one. Don't worry, if you couldn't scan the code, you can just think mentally.
So we need to judge that.
Yeah, the tweet, unfortunately in the screen doesn't appear complete, but I think in your mobiles appear complete. So if you have only one option, what you are doing now is classifying the tweet at document or tweet level, yes? Okay, I'm going ahead, thank you. Now, you will have again the same tweet, but this time you can include all the polarities that you found in the tweet, because I think you realize that a tweet can include many polarities. Many no, at least 1 or 2 or sometimes even the 3. Okay? Good. Usually, if there is something negative, neutral, at the end the 3 should sound like 1 or 100. Yeah? Good, thank you. But I don't care now. Good, thank you. I specifically select this tweet because it can contain more than one polarity. Now, the same, but this time you can select all the topics that are addressed in this tweet. What you are doing now is analyzing the tweet at sentence level and determine which topics address the tweet. Okay, thank you. I'm going to go with that, to don't delay the presentation. Thank you very much for the participation. Now you know how to classify a tweet at sentence and a document level. We did that. And based on that sample, because that was only a sample, I can determine that the recovery of Nepal has been positively assessed. Yes, the assessment is positive, followed by negative and neutral. If you see, there is no significant difference between the analysis at tweet and at sentence level. Only at sentence level, the neutral polarity increased a bit. It doesn't happen with the topic analysis. With the topic analysis, well, this is the topics identified. You see, unrelated. It happened because I collect data using the hashtag earthquake, so it brought information about all the seismic activity in the world. But if we concentrate on the related topics, COVID-19 is the most frequent, followed by nearby restoration, commemoration action, and response. If we go to the topic analysis at sentence level, you see that now we can extract more information about other topics. And again, COVID is one of the most frequent, but in the second place, and restoration is the main topic, followed by seismic information and emergency response. Now, if you want to know the classification at tweet level for sentiment and for topic analysis, you can go to the data repository of Newcastle University and download it. And these are my conclusions. I will use again the hashtag earthquake because it brought information about, I will add information of the seismic activity in the world in the period. Now, the topic analysis at sentence level add a lot of important information. And there is a positive assessment of recovery linked to the restoration of living conditions. Negative polarity is mainly related to the impact of COVID in the reconstruction, and the neutral polarity to the seismic information. Now, being on fieldwork allowed us to validate information that not only COVID delayed the recovery, the weather, the monsoon, was another factor that delayed the recovery, the reconstruction in Nepal. That was according to on-site engineers in the schools. The special emphasis have been really placed in the schools. In what we visit, we saw the retrofitting actions. And I consider that Nepal is moving for just the recovery to the development phase, because Nepal really learned from the lessons from the earthquake, and we saw the retrofitted action on the schools, and we saw changes in the public spaces, in Bhaktapur, for instance. And I remember what you say, the houses, it was reported that the size of the houses was significantly reduced for the reconstruction. The point is usually at least having a house means something that doesn't have anything. That's why, but it was the size. I found in the links that was reported the change in the house, in the size of the house. Is true. So another aspect is people. One topic that was also frequent was emergency, because people compare the response to the COVID, the emergency response to the COVID, with the response to the earthquake. Now, this is some of the reference that I used for this presentation, and these are the contact information. Thank you. If you have any questions.
To the previous question?
Yes, tell me again.
I'm pretty content, but I was wondering what your challenges were with this method of data collection. There seems someone here.
Yes, well, now we are doing the classification manually, but what is the idea? The idea is that with the data that is classified manually, you teach the algorithm or the transformer model to do it automatically. I have the poster that we did with the exercise that we did for Haiti. Still, the accuracy, the accuracy of the transformation models is 65%, but I think it's 63%. So above 50 is already okay. The ideal is above 65%. So the idea is classify more data to teach better the algorithms. Yeah.
I was really interested to get your thoughts on whether this sentiment analysis could be used for things like conflicts, and specifically, so you've used it here to track the recovery post-disaster. Could it work the other way around, where you use it to track sort of damage accumulation and potential casualties or buildings being destroyed, like things in Ukraine?
We did it for the, here I just presented for impact in the long term, for anniversaries, but we have done also for EFIT, for instance, for the 2020 Aegean earthquake, we did it because some people report damages, report that some people is trapped, and some people even report with addresses. Yes, then it's possible to use.
Yeah, I guess specifically for conflict, there are two sides to a conflict, and there might be misinformation, and other sides might be wanting to inflate things. So I guess there are probably different challenges there that might not apply for earthquake perhaps. But yeah, really interesting work. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, how difficult is calibrating the model? Because the interpretation and understanding and context seems very individual and personal, from different cultures, from different languages, and you ask 10 engineers to interpret the same data set, you might get 10 different answers, and almost even more so from a human perspective. So how challenging was that? Because I imagine the answers that you quickly got from us might have been wildly variable.
Yes, it's challenging. The idea is to count with native speakers, yes, first. The also point is that this exercise that we did here, it will have been interested to do it with people from Nepal, yes. And independent that we have artificial intelligence, you still need human intelligence. Why? Because any algorithm is able to recognize sarcasm. Yeah, sometimes they say this government thinks that we have all the time to wait for the reconstruction. Great. I mean, and an algorithm with the word great will say positive, and you and me know that it's totally a sarcasm. Any algorithm will be able to recognize sarcasm because they need you need the context as a human. Yes, that's why the accuracy. That's something that reduces the accuracy. But you know, if we can do this exercise with people from Nepal, it will be great because they have the context. They live in the environment, so that the accuracy of that classification will increase a lot. Yeah. I forgot to say something. I translate everything to English, but my colleagues in computer science, they are developing models that classify the data directly from different languages. Yes, I just do it in English, but yeah.
Very interesting, thank you. I was just wondering how, for example, who uses Twitter, and do you kind of interpret like who might be posting things on Twitter and how that might be different in different countries as to kind of the profile of people?
Yes, no.
What gender they might have as well.
Yeah.
The gender, the ages, I don't know, who kind of
Social background.
socioeconomic background.
Yeah, thank you for that question. During the day of the anniversary, I observed that many who tweet were mainly institutions, you know, the NGOs who works in the area, because they need also to promote their work. But there was also users. So what we can do is go to the profile of users to check, to have this kind of information. Now it's difficult because you need to check if it's possible to identify gender or age, definitely no, but at least gender will be interesting to determine. One thing that I noticed, I didn't mention because of a lack of time, is the most of the tweets were related to restoration of living conditions, to increase the capacity building of population or women. Not only about reconstruction of building, was also about like to empower population to create business, to construct better. Yes, that's why I say that Nepal is moving to a phase beyond just the recovery. But what you say is possible, but then we need to start looking at the profile of users and determine the characteristics when it's possible, no? Because sometimes it's not possible to determine who, yeah? And the idea is not to publish who's, it's just to be able to determine profiles of providers of data. Mm-hmm.
I think what Sam said
Yes.
in terms of
I was just going to ask, do you find that people take Twitter in a way that's representative of the feeling the country in general, or do people, I could see, as you say, the businesses or whatever going there to promote themselves and to go, the reconstruction of our business has gone great, and individuals going to complain. Is that representative of the country as a whole, or do you know how if you buy a product, you only tend to review it if it's terrible?
No, there are people complaining, of course.
Yes,
yes.
but do you get a representative quantity of positive and negative that is the same as the feeling?
Yeah, thank you for that question, because it has the limitation. The data collected from social media has the same limitation that is the data collected from surveys. You cannot get the entire population, the representation of the entire population. You got the opinion of people who are in social media, yes, and it's based on that, yes. But it has the limitation of any survey that you cannot cover all the population or all the opinions, but at least you have this information, yes. This is just one source for assessment, and it's somehow, well, before Elon Musk took Twitter, this data was collected before that. It's a kind of survey for free, now not anymore.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Very interesting, thank you. I'm from Nepal. I was just curious to know if there is if you're trying to validate the methodology that you use for social media, something totally different, just like doing the surveys or questionnaire to different varied populations, with a different background, just to validate the methodology that you use and the results, to see the comparisons.
Well, what at the end I say that this kind of, or at least these three aspects, something that I found in social media and I validated during the visit, yes. For instance, this one, the on-site engineer says, no, we have also delays because of the monsoon time, yes. Now it escaped my mind, but there were also other aspects that were confirmed, and also reports. Not in this presentation, in the presentation of the afternoon, one group of population says that the impact of COVID-19 was not that high on Nepal, but if you go to reports, they say that it was. So it depends also the group of population that you survey. For those, maybe the impact was not that high, but others, they say yes. So that's why it's important to cover different groups of population. Here we are only cover the population that we on social
media. Maybe they're mostly the educated background people, so maybe the other background people have different reason, different say.
Usually some of them include links to the press that it supposed that they are more objective. That's why I knew about the house, they change in the size of houses, because it was reported that that people were really uncomfortable, especially women. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you again very much.